Yeah. So the today I'm just going to cover that the below are the four table of contents part. The first is data engineer roles. Okay. As a data engineer, what would be your role? What is your primary role? And what is your liability? What are you going to do? How you are going to help to the industry or the business? Uh, and the other part of role is like to help to visual developer. When I say visual developer means like data visualization developer. It could be W developer. It could be Spotfire. It could be Power BI. It could be ClickSense. Any other maybe it's include all the type of data visualization. So as a part of data engineer, you are going to provide the data in such a way that data visualization person will pick up those data and create a dashboards or reports where business can take the decision on the basis of the data that you are going to provide. So the analytics, in short, I can say the analytics is the core part of the data engineer. So again, in today world in IT industries, data engineer and data scientist, these are the two main vertical growing areas where people are adopting data scientist role, where people are doing data engineer. So make sure in mind that data engineer is totally different from the data scientist. Let me tell you something about the data scientist. So data scientist is something that where you are going to involve into the robotic processing and the AI part, artificial intelligence. So basically, the where you are going to forecast something, where you are going to predict something. So that is altogether different from the data engineer. So data scientist is something that going to provide the data or the 10 years trend to the business, where business can take decision that yes, on the basis of that I'm not going to invest like some amount of this much in this domain. I'm going to invest this much amount into the sales or IT or any other business area or business function. So that is the data scientist. So data analytics is something, or the data engineer is something where you are going to provide a set of data, some set of data. It is not kind of more historical data, but of course like 2 years, 5 years data, where user can interact, user can or the management can see that what we are lacking or where is the scope of improvement. So for example, let me tell you the one scenario and then I'll move to the next one. So let's say you are working for the oil and gas domain, okay, and maybe so few of maybe you guys are working in different domains, lady, like whether it is pharma domain, life science, or oil and gas, or banking, finance, so BFSI. So all those areas like that could be the parts, and these are the core areas that which going to adopt the cloud or the data engineer, or you can say the data analytics part. So let's come to the example. Just I'm taking the one simple, very simple example. Let's say there's a one oil and gas company that once they have several plants. When I say several plants, means they have some certain locations. Let's say I'm just giving the imaging name, like let's say south, east, or north or west. Okay, so let's say there are company has some plants in the east region. Okay, and company want to see in east region there are some certain plants. Okay, let's say there are some several. When I say plants means this is the device or machines where they are getting the fuel from the soil, and they are doing some refining things, and then they are floating into the pipeline. So this is something that how oil and gas company works. So in oil and gas also there is a further bifurcation, like for example, working in the midstream or upstream or downstream. So I'm just taking the example of midstream. Downstream is something which is they are working in the sea directly, and they are supplying to the oil to the midstream company, and midstream company refine those oil, raw oil, and then send it to the uh, upstream company. Okay, so this is something how the cycle is going on. So just for your understanding, I described about this part. So let's say the midstream company wants to know that there are some certain plants. Sometimes plants go shut down due to XYZ reason. Even company is not aware. Reason could be the temperature of the that particular any part of the that plants is goes down, and that component is not working and due to machine shutdown. Maybe the other part is component is broke due to the like old component or something that this the pressure was going on this some certain components in the plant, and that plant got shut down. There would be several regions actually. These are the two regions that I'm giving you. Just I'm cooking quickly. I'm just giving the example of that. So company wants to know. The company don't want to go to the visit physically and want to see that which plant is shut down. And it is very difficult. If companies is spread across the globe, then it is very difficult to engineers visit to the plants and then see that which plant is shut down, which plant is not shut down, what is the running status, how the fuel is floating in the pipe, so what is their volume, where there are some booster recession. So it is very difficult to go manually and then trace those areas and identify that where plant is shut down. So what company wants? Company wants that, hey, I need data engineer which is getting the data as a text format from the plants, and that text file will capture the data of the machines, like their components are running or not, what is the temperature of the component, what is the floating speed in the pipe. All those data I need. So for that they need sensors. So IoT, I hope you guys may be aware with that. IoT, Internet of Things. From with the help of this, the machines, they are generating the text file, TXT file, not in a good format, but yes, in some other format where some information, some meaningful information are there. So as a data engineer, I said that, hey, you have some files, IoT has generated that file in that particular location. You need to pick up those files and refine those data, do some transformation. Like you need to map that which transformation you are going to implement the transformation in such a way that particular machine is mapped to which region and which part is down, or which what is the temperature of that particular machine. So all the information that you need to map, because that data was not in mature format, or you can say that meaningful format. So you need to map to do some transformations. So a data engineer comes basically. Okay, so data engineer, what do the data engineers? Data engineer basically, they do, like, they pick up those files and identify the regions, machines, they are mapped to machines, and their plants name, that's A plants, B plants, or C plants, and each part of that particular plant is down or running. Okay, so they are mapping with the help of transformation. So to do the transformation needs some coding. Maybe I'll go into the depth. Maybe if you're going to create a Databricks basically support 4 languages. There are Python, R, or SQL, or Scala. These are the 4 languages Databricks supports. Okay, and if sometimes people are not good in the scripting side, so maybe they go to the SQL side, maybe Spark SQL they select. The other part of other dimension of this requirement is like what you need to do is you need to collect those data and do some transformation. If you have any null values, then you need to eliminate the null values, you need to map those, you need to do some transformations. And if you have extra column are coming in this file, so you need to eliminate those files. You need to refine those data, doing some messaging and transformations, and then you need to store somewhere into the storage area. And from here, the data visualization people can take the data from those sources, like where it is Power BI, Tableau, or any other visualization tool. They will get the data from those locations, those storage, and they will display the data to the user, and the user will frequently say. So when you are going to create a dashboard, so there are 2 modes actually. One is the live mode. In live mode, you can see, so every 2 minutes or every 5 seconds or every 1 minute, the page is refreshing automatically. So you will be able to see that which machine is running, which machine is down, what is the temperature of the current machine, what is the like if threshold is increased, like if any temperature of any machine's temperature is more than 90%, so threshold you need to check that you need to take extra precautions so that machine will not go down. So that all those precautions you need to check, you need to provide such informations, and then they need to do that. Okay, so let's quickly that is what the data engineer role. Okay, so let me so I'll cover this data engineer role, and these topics that I will cover during the next further classes. And then the third part is simple architecture, that is currently how IT industries is coming through, and the next one is the complex architecture. Okay, so these are the 4 topics that I'll cover today in this slide, and in going forward I'll take this as a live sessions, like how how you guys will create those as in live way, how you guys can proceed, how you guys can do the transformations, how you guys can write SQL to get the data, how you guys can create Azure SQL in cloud. So all those things I'll go on. Okay? But not today. I'll cover this for slide quickly, and then so more or less that data engineer. What is data engineer? So data engineer is an IT worker whose primary job is to prepare data for analytical or operational use. Okay? These software engineers are typically responsible for building data pipeline to bring together information from different sources. Okay? So these are that what I described earlier. These are more into that about the amount of data that an engineer works with varies with the organization, particularly with respect to its size. Okay, so big data concept that running in that sense is more than 7 to 8 years. That is also some company has historical data where you also need to work. So these all are like you need to where it is healthcare data, retail data, financial data. Okay, so data engineers work in conjunction with the data science team as well, improving data transparency and enabling business to make more trustworthy business decisions. Okay, so these are the data engineer roles that we'll go to cover in a further classes and Agile life system. Yeah, I'm just moving to the next slide. So as a part of the topic that what I'll cover in going forward. So first is the Azure SQL. So Azure SQL is very mandatory and I can say the prerequisites for to become a data engineer. Okay, so either you are a developer or data visualization developer or data engineer. Okay, that is the prerequisite I can say. If anybody is lacking or from the different areas or from the different domain, so I'll go through that. I'll cover this in 1-2 session that how do you create Azure SQL, what are the basic syntax, how you write the queries, all those. I'll not go to depth, but I'll at least I'll make you in such a level that you will be able to understand. So I'll cover all those you guys at the same level. I'll bring you to the same level. Maybe some people knows SQL, some people not knows. So my target is to bring everyone to at same level so that you guys can quickly understand that how to create a query, how to create a table. Data engineer is if you don't know the SQL, then of course that is something that major drawback as a data engineer. So that is the first point I'll cover. Okay. The second part is Azure Data Factory. So Azure Data Factory is basically ETL tool. So I can say that it is the cloud integration tools which is getting the data from different sources. So when I say different sources, it means there are some sources maybe on the cloud, there are some sources which may be the on-prem. So when I say on-prem and cloud, what does it mean? It means data which is on-prem, it means it is in private. So you know the concept of public, private, and hybrid. Okay? So sometimes customer is shooting the Azure or maybe cloud, and their basic data is into the on-prem SQL server. Okay, so what you guys need to do, you guys need to first bring those data on-prem to cloud, and then from cloud to cloud, or maybe from cloud to visualization tool. So Azure Data Factory is the premier, I can say, the very good tool, and it is the big like it is something that where you can say that it is the fantastic invention of the Microsoft Azure Data Factory area. Everyone nowadays in IT world, if you talk to someone which is something knows about analytics or data engineer or something, some SQL side, ADF. Oh, what is ADF? ADF is like short name of the Azure Data Factory. It is something where you are going to. It is cloud data integration tool in simple, nothing more than that. Where you need less coding, but you need to know. So when I say ADF, it is only 3 words: Azure Data Factory. But what does it mean? There are several activities under this topic. Okay? I did not mention here all those in PPT. Otherwise, this PPT will 100 pages. Okay? There are a lot of activities: copy data activities, split transformations, data mapping flow, web-based activity. There are so many transformations are there under this. Okay? For each loop, lookup transformation. So all those the part of this ADF where you need to work with them and understand them. What is the use of that? How you will read the data? I just high level just I mentioned ADF. So I'll cover those ADF Azure Data Factory. And then next is the Azure storage. See, Azure storage is mainly the infra and platform side topic, but definitely I'll cover those as well. Where it is, I'll cover to such level that you guys are able to know that what is Azure storage, how will get the data, what is the difference between Azure Blob and Azure ADLS Gen 2, why ADLS Gen 2 is more popular nowadays. If all features are of Azure Blob is there in ADLS, then why Microsoft is not having Azure Blob? All those aspects and their like, so that is the third point, Azure storage. It is just I'm briefing you guys what I'll cover, and then next is the Azure Synapse Analytics. That is huge concept. That is basically using by the data engineer or the most of the company. Sorry. So Azure Synapse Analytics it basically comprises with two parts. The first part is Azure Data Warehousing. That is the one. Sorry. So Azure Synapse Analytics is comprises of two parts. The first is Azure Data Warehousing. So where you can store the data. So when I say Azure store the data means where there is a repository, where there is historical data that you can store. But the storing of data is a different way, different style, like hash distribution, round robin distributions, and replications. So when you are going to create a table, you cannot create a primary, you cannot create the foreign key file. Earlier, you guys can create a foreign key in on-prem database. So all those things I'll go with in detail about the Azure Synapse Analytics, its concept, and how we do this. So it is the other part of Azure Synapse Analytics is the analytics part. So when I say analytics means there are two things here. The one is data warehouse, which I already covered. The second part is analytics. Inside analytics, what you can do, everything that you can do in Azure Databricks that you can do in Azure Synapse Analytics. Okay. What does it mean? It means you can the analytics part of Synapse can be used to create a pipeline, can get the data that what I can say that half part of ADF can do in the Azure Synapse Analytics by Azure Synapse. Because in this way you can also create a pipeline. You can write some script, get the data from sources, and then send it to some storage, some other destinations, or the sink where you can get where the developer can get the data and develops. Okay, so these are the two main aspects: analytics part and data warehousing part. I'll cover those as well. Okay, the next one and last is the Azure Databricks basics. So when I say basics means some people is if you're interested with the like coding part, so I'll touch with that part as well. Okay, I'll cover those, but not in very depth, because if I'll cover and I'll go to this coding part, maybe Python is required. Okay, maybe R is required. But I'll cover some functions, some part that how you can, on the basis of that platform, you guys can proceed. And then if you have any question, then you can ask me. So these are the five topics that I'll cover during my sessions. And now I'm going to moving to the next slide, and that is the simple architecture. So how industry simple architecture is going to be created. Okay? So going to be created. So first is L0, L1, and then L1, and then L2, okay, and then Power BI. So I just took here Power BI, but it can be any visualization tool. Okay. So let's start with the L0. L0 is just I'm giving the names L0. L0 means raw data. You don't have any transformed data or any inside data or meaningful data here. Okay. L0 is the raw data. So its format it could be in SQL, it could be in CSV, or it could be many other sources. I just took here the two examples of two component like SQL and CSV. Okay? It can be multiple sources as well. It may be your data is on SAP or the other sources. So here L0 is very raw format, very first data where IoT generate the data or any other system generate the data in a raw form. Data is not in the. So what you can do is in Azure Data Factory, you can involve here. You can get the data from those sources and do some transformation. You can eliminate those rows which is not required, or you can do some transformation. You can merge two columns. You can eliminate the null values. You can so all the transformation data messaging that you can do at the level of your data. Okay, Azure Data Factory, again I'm repeating, this is a huge term. It is when I say Azure Data Factory, it means all the person who is related to SSIS or any or Talent ETL or any other ETL tool, Informatica. So all those things that you can do in ADF. Okay, ADF is only 3 words, but it has lot concept, lot tasks that you can do via ADF. ADF is very, again, innovative by Microsoft. It's very important things that nowadays industry are doing. So when I say L1 means at this level you are just going the data, doing some transformation, and pushing data to the SQL. SQL is the sink here, Azure SQL. So it could be anything. Okay, I'm just taking the example here Azure SQL, but it could be Azure Synapse, it could be MI, it could be ADLS Gen 2, anything that as per the customers or the clients they have infra that what customer want to do. Okay, but again, if you are working as an architect, then you need to give some your inputs as well. That if you are going to take the MI, then how much it's cost effective, and what is it benefits, what are the features or functionality that you cannot do in Azure SQL, but you can do in MI. All those needs to you need to describe. You need to know as well. Okay, so this also I'll cover that one. And then once data is moved into the L2, then your task is done. Data engineer task is done. Okay? Your task has been done, has been finished. And now the role start from the data visualization developer. Data visualization developer or Power BI developer or Tableau developer or Spotify developer, okay, can get the data from this L2 and create the insight or the dashboards where user can see the data, their meaningful data, and take the decision based on that. If user want to see since last 5 years data, then you go to the you don't need to create a live report, but you need to create like import mode where weekly basis or you can schedule that report. Okay? So that there are 2 modes in again, I'm not going to cover the Power BI aspect as a data engineer part, but I'm just giving you the some small background. Okay, so these are the overall the very simple architecture. As a data engineer, you should know that, as I said, it could be multiple source. As a Azure side, I'm just taking here the 2 examples, CSV and SQL. It could be SAP, it could be Oracle, it could be other source as well. Okay, and ADF. See, ADF is also one of the that I can say that apart from ADF, you can use here Azure Synapse Analytics as well to create pipeline. Okay. But nowadays industry trend, I'm just selecting here the ADF and then pushing the data to the L2 environment, which is known as a sink or destination, you can say, and from where you can get the data to Power BI. Okay? That is the one thing. Simple architecture. Now I'm going to the next very complex architecture that where maybe you guys should know but not going to implement. As an architect, as a senior architect, my role is here to check all those aspects. So I just bring this slide to you guys so that you guys should know that how complex architecture is designed as a data engineer, how things are going. Okay, so here if you look at the the very first left side, end user. Okay, the PC. Then Power Platform, APN, and the other tool. Okay, then LCM 4.0, DOL, Plansware. Okay, APIs, Dataverse. Okay, so these all are the sources. So end user, what end user? Just I'm going to cover this in 5 minutes about this architecture, and then we'll go Q&A session. Okay, so what end user do here basically? See, end user has some PC, and from PC they are operating the Power Platform, and where they are getting the data from, they are sending their data to LCM 4.0 and Dataverse. Let me tell you what is Dataverse. Dataverse is again a database which is the product of the Microsoft. Okay? So Dataverse is nowadays is also in grooming stage. They are Dataverse is getting the data from LCM 4.0. Okay, so user is using their PC, using the Power Platform, do some changes and sending to LCM, and from LCM it goes to Dataverse. Okay, that is the one source. The second is like PC, then APN. APN is another tool. Then like LCM, they have DOL. This is another application. Okay, and from here they are using the API. So what does it mean? Why I'm telling you why I bring this architecture in front? So as I said, you can have multiple sources, whether it is Dataverse, whether it is API, whether it is planesware. Okay, so how you will send the data from Dataverse to staging layer? Okay, so in ETL as a data engineer, what is your role? How you will send the data? Okay, so why I am creating here staging layer? A staging layer is something that you are getting the data from different sources and putting together. Staging layer, and staging layer and prod or golden layer is the replica of staging layer. Okay, so prod layer or golden layer is the replica of staging layer. So whatever uh, tables or I can say the structure of the tables that are there into the staging, it is same into the prod. Now the question is why we need prod or golden layer in this case? If you have a staging layer and every architecture, the structure of the table are same in both places, then why we created the prod or golden layer? I'll come to this question. I'll answer this one. Let me bring some other aspect of this component of this part. So when you go to this big box in the middle, the L0, L1, and then consumption layer. Okay. So in L0 we have using Kafka. We are using Informatica, Kafka and Informatica, and we are also using the database like Spark. Okay. So I'm just maybe few guys are not aware because some of you guys are from different backgrounds. So, but just I'm bringing you this to understand that what we are doing here. So we are using here Informatica, we are using here Kafka, we are using here Spark Cluster, okay, and here is the ADLS, okay, Azure Data Lake. What does it mean ADLS? Azure Data Lake Storage. Okay? It is the kind of storage provided by Microsoft where you can store your data in file format. Okay, file could be Pocket file, CSV file, Avro file. Okay, so I'll go what is Pocket and Avro. I'll go in further in the session, but not now. So sorry. So I'm just giving you the hint that what ADLs you can store. Then there is a curation engine. So Spark SQL basically what Spark SQL is doing. So you have metadata, you have mapping. The Spark engine is getting the data from all this ADLS and then doing some transformation and sending it to the storage. And then from storage it is sending to the presentation. And from its presentation it is going to the consumption. So consumption layer is something where you can get the data directly. Okay? Consumption layer is something that the data that you have is going to be consumed by the dashboard, by the data visualization tools, basically. Okay? So consumption layer. So why I build here ADF and ADB? Because Power BI or any reporting tool cannot directly connect to the consumption layer. If it will connect, then as an architect point of view, it is not good because. So I'm giving the answer of this question. So why we have created the staging table? Why we have created prod and order? If it is a replica of these two. Okay? So the reason is, see, in staging table, data is coming from Dataverse. Data is coming through EDL. EDL is the enterprise data lake. Okay? Thus I'm giving the name here. It is enterprise data lake. So again, it is a repository where data is coming from planesware. Okay? So and data is coming from the consumption. So these are the three ways that data is going to be loaded into the staging table. Okay, so different sources map or connected to this staging layer. So any reporting tool, if it will connect to the staging layer, and same time if my any jobs is running to pushing the data to staging layer, then system may be going to be crash in some cases, is or the dashboard that you have connected and getting data in a live mode might be hanged because same resource is utilizing by Power BI and same resource is utilizing for these three sources that they are sending the data to staging. That's why we have bring these to the created to the prod and golden layer to avoid circumstances. And from here, if all data is from went to the staging to prod, and then Power BI can connect the data from the prod and golden layer. Okay, so why we have chosen here two layers? Hope you guys understand that why we have created the same replica staging and prod. Because again I'm repeating. See, you have a resource, right? When I say resource, means you have a tables in staging SQL. Okay, if table is getting the data, loading from these three sources. In the same time, if the Power BI is also getting the data, if your Power BI reports, live reports, and after every 2 minutes or 1 minute is refreshing the data, getting the data to know the live status of the plants or the component of the plant or the temperature of the plant. Okay, I'm just giving the example. Okay, so in this case, maybe the report that will run in 5 seconds, that will run after when data is loaded into the SQL. Maybe that is not responding at that time, and it was taking too much time to load the data in front of the user. So that's why, to avoid such circumstance, okay, so the reports will not hang, or the render time will maybe increased if the same resource is utilized by the Power BI reports and same resource is utilizing by the loading the data. Okay, so that's why we, to avoid some circumstances, we created here broad or golden layer. So again, to ADF, what ADF is doing, ADF is just getting the data from staging and sending it to the broad and golden. Okay, it is nothing to do any transformation. It is just getting the data from staging and sending it to broad and golden. Okay, now you have only one golden layer where reports can get the data and show the data from all the source systems. So it means, suppose some user wants to see, hey, what is the data of LCM 4.0 and DOL and Plansware? I want to see in a single dashboard. I don't want you to create 3 separate dashboards and then we'll show the data. It means user is more concerned that they don't want to visit different pages. They want to interrelate these 3 information in single dashboards. That's why they are combining data into one location. All these 3 source data is transferring to the single location L2 layer. Okay, so that in single dashboards user can see the data. Okay, so that is what all about the, this is the complex architecture, but this is very in demand. In some cases, maybe in your company or in your experience, maybe you will get some different more sources as well. Okay, but this is overall that how the architecture is going on. Okay, so that is the last slide of this today's sessions. Now I'm just going to giving you some time to you guys to ask any question that you have in mind, and then I'll go on and then we'll wrap up this call. Okay. Now over to you guys. If anybody has any question, anything, then please let me. Yeah, guys, anybody has any questions?
Hi, this is Balaji.
Yeah, hi, tell me.
Yeah, do all the sessions will be recorded, and if recorded, how long we will be having the access?
So you are asking the about the session that I'm going to conduct, that is recording you want, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, as I believe, it will be available to you during whole class, till end of the whole class. So what, let's say for example, if I'll cover the session today, then that will be available till you are the being of part, till finish of these all topics. Okay? So let's say if I'm going to cover in 1 month or 20 hours or something like that. So till the time you have those access, and you can download, or maybe you can, maybe Visualpath you can give better idea, but that is what I'm doing.
Okay. And how long will be this course? Like 1 month or 2 months?
See, generally I complete in 20 to 25 hours. If you guys are yeah, if you guys are interested with me, like you want to know some more, like your Synapse analytics, you want to know the some advanced part of it. Okay, so sometimes I extend by 5 hours, so it will be 25 hours. If not, you guys are okay that yeah, that's it that I want to know, so which is 20 hours. So in between 20 to 25 hours.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. I lately joined the call. Sorry if we already covered this point, but I just want to ask questions. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead. There are some
Okay.
background,
Okay.
but
So,
I'm able to manage it.
sorry about that. Yeah. So first question would be, what is the approach you are following here? I mean, simply you're explaining the tool, or basically my expectation is to be have a session with it kind of a solution oriented, right? So if you can take a problem and based on that, if you explain the tool, that would be easier for understanding purpose, right? The practical way, not the theoretical way. So
Yeah,
are
so
we
like,
going the same approach or?
yeah, yeah. So we are going to same approach. Okay, live scenarios, scenario-based questions that will cover during the practical sessions. Okay, and it is not something that I'm just going to explain the concept. Okay? I'm just going to, of course, all things cannot be covered in 20 hours, but few of them, like what is the mandatory for you as a data manager, what you should know, that I think practically, and I believe that everyone should also implement the same from your side. Okay? So good hands-on. My target is to everyone has a good hands-on at the end of the after 20 classes. So everyone should like able to or myself able to create solutions. Okay, not on the architect level, but yes, if some scenario is given to you. Okay, so for example, let's say I'm just giving you one scenario. Let's say someone asks questions. I'm also the L2 panelist, like L2 panelists and in management side, L1 panelists as well for the architect who I'm taking the interview. If someone asks a question that, hey, I have a file in ADS Gen 2, I want you to load into Azure SQL into ADS. Okay, the requirement is I don't want you to load all files of data. I just wanted you to load first 200 or first 50 record will go into database. So how will you handle this? Okay, so this is runtime things. So I'll cover in such a way that you will be able to answer those questions. You will be able to implement in practical way. Okay, so coming to answer this question, you are definitely the solutioning part. That how you so I'll create a scenario or use cases and I'll cover in example.
Okay. And are we spending some time, at the architecture side as well? I mean, you explained the complex diagram, right? That's very good to know that. Are we spending any time there to, to go through in depth in some of their concepts there?
Yeah, concept. See, complex diagram that which I showed to you guys. That is not I'm going to cover because that is different. We don't have such environment, like we don't have Informatica Park and all. But of course, the conceptual I'll cover that. Okay. But simple the architecture that which I showed to you guys, definitely I'll cover it in practical. But the complex was not possible because like it is not possible to purchase the license of Informatica create such sources where you can get the data, right? But conceptually, I'll describe each in detail, okay? How you can manage, how the code you are going to do this. So that definitely I'll describe conceptually.
Oh, okay. And what are the timings, daily timings of the session?
It will be in morning session, okay? Either 8 to 9 or 9 to 10, okay? So anyone I'll select that, and you guys also I'll take the opinion of which out of these three
Yeah.
topics which one is
So
comfortable. Yeah, yeah,
it's a daily sessions you are conducting, or weekly twice? How it would be going to be?
I'm planning it to in a daily base, okay? If any
Okay.
class if any class that is not available, I'm not available, so I'll conduct that in
Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, anybody has any question?
This session is recording, right? Can I talk to you privately? Because I need to. I have few questions, so I need to discuss with you before joining this session. So,
Yeah,
uh,
sure.
by the way, I have around 10 years of experience, so I just put up privately. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. You can, no problem. So I'm just giving you my number. You guys can connect. Okay, no problem.
Sure. Yeah.
I pinned in the chat box. You guys can take from this number from there.
Thank you.
Anybody have any other question? So okay, guys. I hope. Yeah. Anybody have any question? No, right? Okay. Thank you, guys. Nice session with you. Uh, you guys can connect me anytime. That is not a problem. Okay. See, sometimes also I was I was or maybe I'm in the call or in parallel different sessions. So might be if not able to pick that call, then definitely I'll call back. So you're living in. Okay? So let's not hesitate with that time to connect me or any point of discussion that you want to me with, and sometimes maybe if I'm on a call or different sessions or maybe in a client call, so you guys can wait or maybe I will call after this. Thank you everyone. Thanks for your time, valuable timing.
Thank you so much. Bye.